So the EFL action over in League One cranks up yet another notch this weekend, with some clubs back in action despite the international break. Stevenage will remain top of the pops no matter what. But what will else happen down below? We're going to get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today it is match number 12, of course. We're looking forward to it. Hopefully you are too. And of course, if you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe, your one-stop shop for League One, Blackburn Rovers, World Football, all here under one rooski. That's right, of course. We've got some clubs back in action, some clubs taking a bit of a break because of the international break, but we've got lots of drama to talk about, and we're going to get into it in a second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. And of course, if you're new, hit the old subscribe. We're going to take a deep dive into what went on last time around. Look forward to what's coming up right around the corner, because I am pretty late dropping these vids. So here we go, guys, recapping the results from last week, and this is it. The drama last week saw Rotherham United and Bradford City end all square 2-2. I went the 2-1 win. It was looking like Rotherham were going to get all 3 points at one stage, but Bradford doing their thing, remaining serious contenders for promotion again. Doncaster picking up a draw against Burton, 1-1. I went for 2-0 win. Wycombe under new management, 2-2 thriller against Barnsley. I went with a 1-1 as well on that one. It's no more. Stevie Bruce is out of work. Losing to Wimbledon was the straw that broke the camel's back. Of course, I believed in Blackpool. I thought they could turn it around, but it just doesn't look like they're going to do it at the moment. Wimbledon didn't, though, are flying high. Bolton with a 2-1 win over Peterborough, got that one spot on. Meanwhile, Cardiff, 4-3 winners over Leyton. Orient, I went with a 3-1 win. Stockport with a cheeky 2-1 away win against Huddersfield Town. I went the other way. Lincoln also losing at home to Exeter as they take a tumble down to 4th. Plymouth and Wigan in the Rhino derby ended up all square. Port Vale with a 0-0 scoreline against Northampton Town, got that one close to the mark. Reading with a 1-1 scoreline against Mansfield, and Stevenage with that 2-0 win over Luton, which also cost a man his job, goodness gracious me. So Luton, all change over there. That's of course what we should be talking about, but they are not in. This is the state of play currently in the table over in League One, with Stevenage in charge, 25 points, with Bradford in hot pursuit. Cardiff, Lincoln, Wimbledon and Huddersfield Town make up the playoffs as of right now. Going down, some shockers down there: Peterborough, Blackpool, Rotherham and Burton, Albion. But they all change, of course, despite a bit of a scattered fixture list. So what are we talking about? Well, I'll showcase you in that in a minute. We are continuing with the prediction league, so continue to do your thing, and we'll give you an update on that next, soonish. I can't give you a date just yet, but soon. So this is the table. So these are the games that we're looking forward to this coming match day. Of course, 7 of them out of the 12 typical. So we're going to jump in the deep end with a trip to Sixfields first and foremost at Northampton Town. Take on Rotherham, of course. Northampton flying high right now with Kevin Nolan doing a fantastic job. 13th for the table, 14 points for them. They're unbeaten in the last 4 matches. Up against Rotherham and Matthew Hamshaw, they're struggling. 22nd in the table, 8 points for them. I've taken on Northampton 16 times since 2004. Rotherham have won 6 of them. Northampton have won 5 of them. There's been 5 draws. Last time I played at Sixfields, it was a 2-0 win for Rotherham back in April 2025. Rotherham have won 5 on the bounce against Northampton Town, and they got 4 clean sheets on the bounce against them. But they're coming into this, though, on the back of that 3-2 win over Oldham in the Football League Trophy Northern. As for Northampton Town, also pick up a win, same competition, 1-0 win over Walsall to make it an unbeaten streak of 4 games, 4 clean sheets on the spin as well for Northampton, and they are cooking with gas. The bookies will back Northampton Town. I think I must back the Northampton Town at the moment. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win. Kevin Nolan has finally got 2 out of this Northampton Town, and they could actually be outside contenders for their players. I just said that. I went there, guys. Meanwhile, Wimbledon, Port Vale going flying high. Wimbledon flying high, of course, up to 5th right now. 5 wins on the spin and a Johnny Jackson. Up against Port Vale and a Darren Moore, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Of course, 16th at the table, 12 points for them. They played Wimbledon 8 times since 2011. 3 wins Wimbledon, 4 wins Port Vale. There's been 1 draw. They last played, of course, last season at this venue. In League 2, it was a 2-0 win for Port Vale, who've won 3 on the spin against Wimbledon. Just 1 defeat against them in the last 6. Coming into this, though, Wimbledon on the back of that 2-0 win over Blackpool, which cost Steve Bruce his job. He's no longer there, of course. As for Port Vale, they're on the back of a 2-0 win over Accrington Stanley in the Football League Trophy Northern. They continue moving in the right direction. Also, 3 clean sheets on the spin for Port Vale. The bookies' odds tight between these two sides. Could go either way, but Wimbledon just about edge it. I'm going with a 2-1 win as well for the Dons to continue their fantastic season. In fact, Bradford doing A-OK this campaign. Meanwhile, team not doing okay, it is Burton under Team GB. They did start okay, but they now have gone into a bit of a bad situation. They're down to 21st right now, 9 points for them. Just 1 win though in the last 6 for Burton. Up against Bolton side, just lost once in the last 6. They're up to 8th with 17 points. They played Burton 13 times in 2015. We got 5 wins for Burton. We got 4 wins for Bolton, and there's been 4 draws. They last played at the Pirelli. It was a 2-1 win for Bolton, who are unbeaten against Burton over the last 6, including 3 wins on the bounce. Burton, though, losing to Football League in the Football League Trophy to Chesterfield, 1-0 loss there. In the league, actually, Burton are back-to-back games without a loss and just 1 loss in the last 4 matches. Up against the Bolton side, they're coming into this on the back of a 2-1 win over Peterborough in the League 1 last weekend. Bookies odds for this one, they'll go with Bolton, of course, but the Pirelli ain't no... it can be a tricky place to go, and you got to give Burton a little bit of credit, but ultimately I've got to go with the form side here, and I've got to go with Bolton. Unfortunately, 2-0 winners, they'll win. Gary Bowie are struggling at the moment. They need some results. Meanwhile, Exeter City against Reading, coming at St James's Park. Gary Caldwell's boys are 17th right now, 12 points for them, just 1 win in their last 6. They were struggling. Up against the Reading side, who've turned it around a little bit under Noel Hunt, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They're 19th with 10 points. They played Exeter 6 times since 2014, 1 win for Exeter, 4 wins for Reading. There's been 1 draw, and that 1 draw was then last played at the Matchday back in March 2025. However, the last time played at St James's Park, all the way down on the south coast, it was a 2-1 win for Reading, who were unbeaten against Exeter over the last 4, including a 9-0 win at this venue in the Football League Trophy back in September 2023. I said a 9-0 win. Reading on the back of that 1-0 win over MK Dons. Exeter also picking up a win against Lincoln. It's a tight one here. Exeter just about edge it with the bookies. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here. Can't separate the two sides at the moment. Meanwhile, a team needing a response and fast is Leyton Orient. They're down to 18th right now, 11 points for them. Richie Wellens, another name linked with the Blackpool job. Up against Doncaster under Grant McCann, also hit the skids a little bit, have Doncaster. But they are unbeaten in the last 2. They sit 10th right now, 17 points for them. They've taken on Leyton Orient 14 times since 2003. 2 wins for the Orient, 8 wins for Doncaster. There's been 4 draws. They last played over at this venue, aka Brisbane Road. It was a 1-0 win for the Orient back in January 2023. The Orient on the back of that 2-1 win over Crawley, the Football League Trophy. Doncaster picking up a win over Grimsby in the same competition, but the northern one. Bookies odds here, they're Orient favourites for the victory here. I guess the real part of the season is starting to click in now, and Doncaster's starting to kind of drip down a little bit. Orient, of course, playoff contenders last season. Going to go with the Orient here, 3-1 winners. I like Doncaster. I think they've done a great job, but I think the cream is starting to rise to the top. Meanwhile, Stockport County taking on Blackpool at Edgeley Park. David O'Shannon's boys are 7th with 19 points, just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Blackpool, Stephen Dobby takes over the reins here, winless though in the last 3. They've taken on Stockport 9 times in 2002, 4 wins Stockport, 3 wins Blackpool. There's been 2 draws. They last played at Edgeley Park. It was a 2-1 win for Stockport back in March 2025. That was the first win for the home side in at least the last 6. Coming into the Blackpool on the back of that 2-0 loss to Wimbledon, of course. Stockport losing to Salford in the Football League Trophy. Northern just the other day. Bookies will back Stockport no matter who's in charge. I think I've got to go with them as well. Starting to drink the Kool-Aid, and I think Blackpool are in trouble. 2-0 winners. Stockport taking it. And then finally it's the battle of the W's. But who will get the W? Will it be Wigan? Will it be Wycombe? That's right. Coming at the DW. Wigan are struggling right now. 14th for the table. 13 points for them. They're winless in the last 5. Up against Wycombe under Michael Duff. New manager bounce. They're just 1 defeat in the last 5. They're 20th in the table with 9 points. They played each other 8 times to 2003. 3 wins apiece and 2 draws. They last played over at the DW. It was a 2-0 win for Wycombe earlier in the year, actually, in the EFL Trophy 3rd round back in September. Of course, last time they played in the league at this venue, it was a 1-0 win for Wycombe as well, who are unbeaten against Wigan over the last 4, including 4 clean sheets on the spin. Wycombe, though, picking up a win against against Fulham in the Football League Trophy. Southern. Wigan losing the same competition against Wolverhampton Wanderers reserves. Coming into this, though, Wycombe, under the new manager bounce, are fancied for the book, for the odds here. Of course, they'll expected to get the W, but it is a tight one. Could go either way. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win Wigan to dent the new manager bounce. That is, of course, Wigan. And if I'm right, this is what the table would look like. It'll be Stevenage still top, as I said. Bradford, of course, unmoved as well in 2nd. With Wimbledon, Cardiff, Stockport and Lincoln going down. Burton, Rotherham, Blackpool and Peterborough. But that, my friends, is what I have. Don't forget to get what your thoughts are in the old prediction league. And we'll see you whenever we return, of course. Subscribe, smash the like. I'll catch you later. But we're done.